In today's video, things you missed in Yu-Gi-Oh! The Battle City arc, part 4, and that's coming up. What's up there and welcome to a brand new video on 414 YGO. In today's video, things you missed in Yu-Gi-Oh! The Battle City arc, part 4. And hey, if you're new here, why not join the 414 community by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out. So, today's video is going to cover episodes 80 all the way through to 89, which means we finally get into the start of the Battle City finals, which is really exciting, and this is where things really start to kind of liven up in the Battle City era. So I'm excited to start covering these ones, but with that being said, here are the things you missed. So episode 80 is basically that like weird kind of side story-ish duel between Mai and that Magnum guy, that actor that really likes her and stuff. But the things you missed, when Yugi mentions Harpy's Feather Duster, he says that it cancels out the effects of all magic cards. The card actually doesn't negate, but destroys all spell and trap cards the opponent controls. So read up on that card, please, Yugi. Also, when Magnum was explaining the effects of Ninja Smoke Ball, he had 3 cards in his hand when he should have only had 2. Finally, after Joey saves Mai by catching her and Magnum offers to help her up, causing her to slap away his hand, her detached sleeve is missing upon slapping him, but then returns again in the next scene, which is cool. On to episode 81. This is basically where the guys arrive at the Kaiba blimp to start the Battle City finals. When Yugi, Joey, and Mai are asked to show their 6 locator cards, all 3 show 7 cards instead of 6. Always best to have one in reserve, I guess. After Bakura reveals he is a finalist, the scene of Marek, still obviously in disguise as Namu, shows him without a dual disc. When Roland and Isono announce that the actual location is on a blimp, Marek is still seen without a dual disc, and Kaiba mistakenly has one on his right arm. But then it switches back to his left arm, like everyone else's is shown. Finally for this episode, the 2 men asking to see the locator cards are of course Isono and Roland. But they are switched after this episode. Mokuba calls the second man at the blimp Roland, but later the first man is called Roland, who is the referee. So it's just all you need in life is Roland, basically. On to episode 82. So this is the first Battle City final episode. This is of course between Yami Bakura and Yami Yugi, and I absolutely loved this duel. So I'm really excited to get some things you missed in this one. But with that being said, when Yami Bakura special summons Dark Necrofear from his hand, there are 4 other cards in his hand. He later sets 2 of those cards. However, when he activates his set Dark Sanctuary, he has 3 cards in his hand. An error that continues into the next episode as well. When Yugi draws before summoning Dark Magician Girl, he actually draws from his hand rather than his deck, which is stupid. And finally, just like we've had disappearing Millennium Puzzles, disappearing sleeves, Yami Bakura's bandage on his arm also keeps disappearing throughout this episode. Episode 83, a continuation of the Yugi and Bakura duel. When Bakura plays the Dark Duel, his card Dark Sanctuary is to the left of it on the field, but he puts them in opposite places in his duel disc. When Bakura sacrifices Earthbound Spirit, it appears on the opposite side of the field it was summoned on. Also, in the English version, the card appears in the Dark Door's place next to Dark Sanctuary. Of course, like in many duels, but in this episode as well, there are many mistakes on both of the duel discs. After Bakura plays the Dark Door, on Yugi's following turn, Bakura's duel disc shows no monsters, but then it shows the magic card on a monster card place, and then no cards in the monster places again. When Yugi sets his 2 cards, his dual disc has Dark Magician Girl in Kuribo's place, and then Kuribo is in Gamma the Magnet Warrior's place. When Yugi plays Exile of the Wicked, his dual disc has Dark Necrofear, this time, in Kuribo's place, in defense mode before he even summons it with Monster Reborn. So, kind of like a future diary dual disc thing going on. Of course, Kuribo is in Gamma the Magnet Warrior's place, which is nowhere on Yugi's dual disc in attack mode. Finally, as Bakura places his hand on his deck in the end of this episode, there is a magic card on the very left shot. But after he actually draws his next card, the magic card has disappeared. Just like magic. On to episode 84, this is the final duel between Yugi and Yami Bakura. But when all of Yugi's friends run up to Bakura after the arena is lowered, Marek, disguised as Namu of course, is not seen with them. But after Tristan has Bakura on his back, Marek is kind of like pops up out of nowhere and is seen next to Duke walking away with the rest of the guys. This is the first time Yugi summons an Egyptian god card, and it's the only time he does so by attributing 3 distinct monsters. The other times he usually sets multiples, the same type of monster, or monster tokens. After Yami Yugi attacks Yami Bakura, the Millennium Ring goes flying, and Bakura is knocked out. If you look closely after Yami Yugi ran up to see if Bakura was okay, the Millennium Ring can be seen near the edge of the playing field. Moving on to episode 85, this is basically just a bit of a filler between the next Battle City final duel. When Yugi's deck is displaced on the table, the monster card Cyberjar is shown as a spell card. Also, there's a shot when the god cards prototypes are finished, they are all shown to have PS3 written on them for some strange reason. Episode 86, this is where Joey takes on Odeon, who everyone thinks is Marek at the time. But after Judgment of Anubis is played, when the camera zooms out, Yugi's head looks smaller. And after, once again, Judgment of Anubis destroys Joey's monsters, when the camera cuts back to Odeon, his tattoo is on the opposite side of his face this time. On to episode 87, this is the only time Joey plays Legendary Fishman and Insect Queen. And I personally don't think they're the greatest cards, anyway. However, the Jinzo he won from Esperoba obviously fits perfectly with his deck and is just a really strong monster, so I guess that's why we see Jinzo so much more than the other two. The last scene of Joey's monsters before he sacrifices Battle Warrior to summon the Legendary Fisherman, it shows none of the monsters with cards underneath them. When Joey summons the Legendary Fisherman, his other 2 monsters do not have their cards underneath them. Later on in an overhead view, the cards are underneath the Legendary Fisherman and Insect Queen, but once again, not under Jinzo, which is really strange. When Yugi's spirit comes out after Taya mentions that Odeon is freaking out after he draws Ra, he agrees with her and starts mentally talking to Yami Yugi about the temple and the Ark on its steps. However, unlike when Yami's spirit first spoke to Yugi in his deeper voice before taking over, both of them speak in Yugi's softer voice, and it seems Yugi is still the one talking until the scene shows Yugi's spirit looking at Yami. Finally determining that Yugi has stopped talking and that now Yami is, although the voice is of course wrong. After Joey summons his Insect Queen and the view switches to an overhead scene showing the space next to the arena's side where Joey's friends stand, the real Marek has disappeared again. On to episode 88, another episode featuring the Joey and Odeon duel. In the very beginning, showing all of the remaining life points and the monster's attack and defense points, Joey's Jinzo, although in defense position, is shown standing up instead of kneeling, as shown in the previous episode when he changed it to defense position. Also, in one of the beginning scenes, when the entire gang and duelists are shown far away, Marek's right arm is shown next to his right pant leg without the Millennium Rod. In another beginning scene, when the light circles around Marek, his right arm is holding the rod behind his back, but then in a close-up scene from the back shows Marek holding the rod behind him with his left arm instead, and without a dual disc on his arm. In the flashback, when Marek's father first takes him as a baby from his mother, his hair is shown to be a much more light brown from the back than blonde or white, but when Marek is held up in the special room, the hair is shown white again. Near the very end of the episode, after Marek orders Odeon to stop his attack on Joey with Circuit, Marek's right arm that should hold the Millennium Rod behind his back once again can be seen next to his right leg. Finally, onto episode 89, the final duel between Joey and Odeon. Though the Battle City rules state that you can take your opponent's rarest card, it seems in this situation, of course with them both being knocked out unconscious, Joey didn't take a card from Odeon. Also, Yami Marek's voice was originally much deeper in this episode compared to the others. On the DVD release, his voice is pitched higher to make it sound more consistent with the other episodes. Yet the recap in the following episode forgets to edit out, and it just uses his deeper voice. After the lightning strikes Odeon, his right hand is shown to fly forward and not hold the fake Millennium Rod. But the next scene shows the fake rod in his right hand crumbling into many different pieces. Finally, Odeon's carvings covering part of his left eye, but when Odeon falls down again after trying to rise and win the duel, the carvings are not shown and seem to be only on the very left of his cheek. But thanks for watching. This was my video, Things You Missed in Yu-Gi-Oh! The Battle City Arc Part 4. I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, if you'd like to see more Things You Missed, Yu-Gi-Oh! Facts videos, character deck, duels, profiles and more, hit the subscribe button right now. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the like button, share this video with a friend, or leave me a comment in the section below. Let me know what your favourite Battle City final duel is. But that is it from me. I will see you in the next video. Take care.